Hey, what's going on? I am Alex Southey, and you are listening to Your Worst Song. Uh, that's the oven, so I got to get this done pretty quickly. Uh, this episode is with Brock Mattsson. He is a manager and also a musician himself. He's got a pretty cool history. He talks a bit about not even just his career history, but his familial history, like his grandpa and his some of his other family members are musicians or were musicians in their own right and incredibly, it seems like, impactful in their communities, just like Brock is. We chat about having not seen each other for about a year. We also chat about him being outside. There's a lovely ambiance of his dog and some birds chirping in the background, that kind of thing. It's basically serves as evidence of his current life in Barrie. Speaking of which, we chat about how often he's moved. It's absurd. It's borderline psychotic. All right. Some good stories in this one. Just in general, a good chat. Hope you enjoy it. I am Alex Southey, and you are listening to Your Worst Song. Well, Brock, thanks for joining me. I'm curious what you did today. What'd you do before this? Just for people listening, it's 5:23 p.m.
Yeah, it's Friday, so just worked at my job, electrical supplier, and was pretty dead, honestly. So did a little bit of emails there, and then when it's dead, I luckily secretly don't tell my boss, but get to do my music emails when no one's looking. So just was doing double shifts, I guess. One I get paid for, the other I don't. So it's nice
How do
to
you What do
bridge
you
them.
find about all that, like, admin work? You know, is it? Can you? I doubt anybody is passionate about it, but do you not hate it, or is it
I
really something you dislike?
I am starting to love it,
Oh
honestly.
wow!
I don't know. I think it's just my years in like a stable office job kind of thing and like emailing. I used to like hate it, but I kind of like it. It's like a weird, like nerdy thrill to like, you know, get get like locked in on like maybe I don't know, like an interview somewhere or like I don't know, a show. I don't know, just
No,
little things like that. It's just like it's like you just do a couple emails, like blast out some emails, and you get something. It's like an accomplishment. You're like, yes, I did
no,
it.
you're completely right. It's absolutely like
Yeah,
weirdly validating. You're like,
yeah,
oh, okay, they want me, or they like the way I
yeah,
wrote this email, or maybe
yeah,
I'm convincing via email or something like that. You know?
yeah, exactly. And then, yeah, I don't know. And then I just, as stressful and crazy as it is, because you're usually dealing with multiple parties always. I don't know. It's learned me to be a little bit more organized, which I've never been in my life. So it's just like focused me to do that, which is nice. And I don't know. I work with a lot of friends, luckily. So it's like just,
Yeah.
it's pretty chill. I've worked with a few people that I wasn't friends with, but most of the time I'm just trying to help friends out. I just like spreading the wealth. I don't gatekeep really. I just like, hey, here's information. Like use at your own. I don't know. Will I don't know. That sounds threatening, but just yeah, just use it. Use it as you will. Like I don't know. Like just
No, I get what you're saying.
yeah,
You can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink, ultimately. But yeah, I know what you're saying, and there's no
yeah,
gatekeeping, and you're just trying to provide. In a way, you're just trying to provide as a resource in a way.
yeah, exactly.
And it started with your friends, or it's mostly rounded out by people who are also your friends, but you respect as musicians, or whatever may be the case, which I'd like to get
Yeah,
into
yeah.
eventually. But right now, actually, the noise is a perfect intro to it. I want to hear about where you are, because if I'm not mistaken, most of the people that I speak to are based in Toronto. You are not based in Toronto.
I'm not based in Toronto. You're correct. I
Would you
am.
like to talk about it?
Yeah, I guess yeah. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Brock Mattsson. Uh, I play more traditional country music. I've been lucky enough to be in the scene for a long time since I was 18. I'm 32 now. I've lived all over Canada just through work and life experiences and met a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
that way. And yeah, I don't know. I started when I was like 16, 18, and I just kind of for some reason took the lead of like booking and getting stuff organized because my friends were not organized and I wasn't either, but I was like, I'll take a stab at it. Like
Yeah,
what's the worst that can happen? Like
sure.
we don't get any shows. So
No, that's
yeah,
true. And there's already
that's
somebody in the group project who takes on that role, and it was you in that case.
yeah, I feel like in any band, like it's a business in a sense as much as it's fun and rewarding to release your creations. But you know, people gotta like before you get signed or before you build a team, you gotta like do it yourself, and that usually some people are better at certain things, and yeah, you kind of just it just I think naturally happens throughout the band. Maybe it doesn't, and then that causes tension and conflict. But for us, it just kind of it worked out for a bit, and then the tension and conflict came, and then we split. But
Well,
anyways, yeah,
but this makes sense because it leads to the other thing that and we can talk about you as a musician, but the other what we already talked about, which is you working kind of as management essentially. Do you want to talk about when that really spread its wings, when you actually decided to go from just the organized musician to no, I'm actually going to do this with a business minded sense?
yeah. Um, I kind of took a hiatus from music. There was just like a thing that happened in my life where uh, I don't know. I just didn't feel good about my music anymore because the person I was recording with, like, kind of there's conflict there with some payment and other things, and it's just both sides
Okay.
weren't great. But then it just kind of like there's so much hatred around these songs that I love that it just like turned me off from music. And then I moved to Edmonton, and then and that was like 2000, I think 15 or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I met uh, just all these great musicians that now live in Toronto, um,
Okay.
and killing it. They're so good, like Jesse Northey, Victory Pool,
Yeah.
Jasper Smith, and just yeah, just the Edmonton crew. Ella
Lots.
from
Yeah.
Sister
Lots.
Ray. Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of brought their crew there, and they're thrilled and succeeding. But anyways, I'm really good at explaining too much. But anyways, I just
That's the right problem to have
yeah,
for a podcast. It's fine.
there you go, filibuster. But yeah, I just after that and seeing the love in the community for just that scene, like it was just no matter what genre, everyone came out, everyone supported. Um, it was just beautiful, and I started doing photography again, and then I just kind of like emailed people to help them because I knew that you need that to like have good photos
Present
to
yourself
post on
properly and
social
get
media. Yeah,
chances. And that, yeah, yeah,
so
and as simple as that.
yeah, so in the moment right now, I guess that's thinking about it. That's kind of when it started, maybe where I just started doing these little things that I had skill sets for to like help other people. And then it wasn't until I think after my first bigger tour in 2022, and then moving to PEI, I kind of thought about managing because I was in a band called Hymn Villa. My friend Tim uh, started that band and brought me in when I moved back from Edmonton. And then I, again, did the thing of booking shows
Yeah.
and all that thing. And then when I left the band, because I left Toronto to
Mm-hmm.
North Bay, I still was like managing because I really was. I love their music and I'm passionate about that project still. So and he's just a good friend. So I was just like, let me help you. Like, and I won't take a cut because you're a pal, but like, let me figure out how to do this thing. And so he was kind of my guinea pig and still is, I'd say. But
Yeah.
yeah, they do have a show coming up for North by on June 12th, which I'm
Oh,
excited
great.
for.
Yeah, shout it out. Shout it out.
Yeah, so Hidden Villa June 12th at the Cameron House. I'll be
Sweet.
there. But
Sweet.
yeah, so I just kind of slowly started managing him from afar because I wasn't in the same city, and that's where I took a lot of the, I'd say, admin stuff away because he's a
Got it.
freelance worker and just doesn't always have time for that. So I just would help out
Oh,
and
you took that over for him, you mean?
yeah, like all the like
Yes,
little
those things.
things,
Yeah.
um, just like
Uh,
coordination of things and all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
He,
And so they can worry about the creating thing and the playing thing.
exactly. So that's
Yes.
where it kind of started. So that was like maybe 2017, 18, I don't know. And then from there, when I moved to PEI in Summerside, I didn't have a job and I just had a lot of time. And
Okay. I
I was
relate to
like,
that a lot.
yeah. So I was just like, hey, why not like do some managing for other people? And I met, I was playing shows again, and I met Ben Valley from Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he was just a sweetheart. He just kind of reached out to me on Instagram because they didn't have an opener for a show in Charlottetown, and then
It's the
we
best
had
when that just happens and falls into your lap, and
yeah,
you're like, "Of course, yes, absolutely."
yeah. It was really nice. Yeah, it's nice
Yeah.
when you don't have to put on this stuff.
Exactly. You're
And
just like, "Oh, this is
so,
happening. Let's slot you right
yeah,
in." You're like, "Okay, thank you. This is the easiest job in the world."
exactly. I'm like, yeah, I'll come play. So it
Yeah.
was really nice. And it just was a great interaction. And yeah, I opened for him, and once I saw him, I just was like, I need to manage this guy. Like he's like, if he doesn't have a manager, like I don't know what he's doing. I'm like, his music just speaks to me in a way because it's very what I grew up with, like my whole life, like the traditional country, just old school feel, just like beautiful
Yeah.
lyrics, everything. It just like I was just sucked in instantly the first time I heard him,
Yeah.
and so then I just like I don't know. We stayed in touch, and then I think I don't know when, but then I don't know. We were just like became pals and started talking, and then I started the management company Forlorn Frog Management, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
I just had myself and him Villa on the management side of
If you
things,
wouldn't
and
mind me
then
cutting in right there,
yeah, cut in.
what? Okay, actually, I have two quick questions. Where does the
Yeah.
name come from? The Forlorn Frog. Where does that come from? And two,
Uh,
I actually want to know what the conversation was like where you talked to this person you think is so talented, and I'm sure they appreciate you as well by that point. But the actual conversation where you're like, "Can I manage you? Please, can I have some of the reins of your career?" Because that's even if I approached a friend of mine who I thought was really talented, I'd be nervous to have that conversation.
yeah, it's weird for sure. Like especially I didn't know him on like a very
A
deep
deeper
level,
level.
but
Okay,
like
yeah.
yeah, but like I know I don't know. We just talk music and we're just friendly and it was great. But like unlike friends forever on a deeper level, we can like maybe ask those like scary questions without feeling anxious. But
Exactly,
yeah,
and
to
you know
answer
the right way to formulate them, maybe, or articulate them in a way where, because you know how they'll land with your friend, and not this other person.
yeah,
I guess. Yeah.
exactly. So to answer your first question with
Yeah.
Forlorn Frog, the name came from uh, I was looking for a sad word, and then just like there's some like old country songs. I think there's a town song that
Yeah.
Emmylou
Forlorn is
covers.
perfect. Forlorn is perfectly
Yeah,
evocative of what you're going for.
exactly. So like my music's, I just wanted some like sad and country because that's what my passion is. And
Yeah.
anyway, so then I did Forlorn, and then I don't know. At the time, to be honest, like a lot of people were into frog fucking memes and shit. So I said,
And you couldn't go
so I
with
said,
Forlorn Pepe, so you went with
yeah,
Forlorn Prague. Okay.
yeah, yeah. And
Gotcha.
then I think I even had an artist who like drew like the classic. Like I have a tattoo of it now, but at the time I didn't. It's just like
Oh,
the
really?
sad the frog playing a lute.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, so I had this artist draw up Dormo from I think BC who did my
Okay.
7-inch album cover.
Cool.
She's a great artist. I bought some of her prints on Etsy and then one day just shot her a message like, "Can you design stuff for me?" And then she did a few things, and yeah,
That's
she's great. If
inspiring to
you haven't,
hear. That's inspiring to hear
yeah,
because it's one of those things where it's like, oh, they're so talented. I don't know if everybody has that bit of insecurity about
yeah,
themselves. Like, I don't know if they'll want to hear
yeah,
from me, but it really is sometimes as simple as reaching out.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just did that, and she did it, and then yeah, I think I just had like an idea for a shirt of a frog on like a playing a banjo,
Yeah.
and then she did it, and then yeah, again the name kind of came to me, and I was like, oh wait, this is also like perfect because I have a logo I can use.
No, that's perfect, honestly. And I
So
like the
it just
update,
like
like based being sorry to cut in, just being based
yeah,
on a lute and then updating it to a banjo. It's all just it suits it.
yeah. So yeah, it all just kind of fit. And again, it's like based off, yeah, I think If I Needed You by Towns, I think is the original. I'm
Mm-hmm.
probably, hopefully right, but I think I might be wrong. And then Emmy Lou covers it with Don Williams, which is my favorite cover of it.
Okay.
And
I got to check that out. I'm not familiar.
yeah, it brings me to tears. It's just a beautiful executed song.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, so that's kind of where the name came from. And then, so I kind of had this like, yeah, company, we'll call it, but just really just a website and an email domain
And a dream. Yeah.
and a dream. Yeah. Um, and then, yeah, so after, I don't know when, after Ben and I talked, um, and he was saying he was releasing a record, I was like, are you, are you doing all yourself? Or like, I just kind of asked some questions like, how are you going about the release?
All right.
Just kind of like,
Some sleuthing. Some polite
yeah, a little
sleuthing.
bit, just like yeah, just like also just curious because he's becoming a pal,
No, for
and
sure,
then
for sure.
he's like, oh, I got a like release date in mind, and I got a show scheduled, and I was just like, let me help you like get some PR, like
Mm-hmm.
let me do it, man. Like I really love your sound, I love your record, I'd love to help you out the best I can, and go
Yeah.
from there. And again, I feel like if you're passionate about something, you'll put more love and care into it. And that's where, like, with Him Villa and Ben, like, I really care about them as a person and their music I just care about. So I put a little extra of my soul into it when I'm doing it and really make sure to take the time. Like, it's not just like, hey, they're gonna pay me and then I'll get the money and like walk away. It's just like, it feels like your baby and you want it to grow into something. And I think it's also just, I love just seeing friends and just any creative who is passionate and really wants to make it. Because like you need a, was it? You need a community to raise a child. They say, right?
Oh, yeah. I could see that. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
or
I
whatever,
get
whatever
that.
they say. So it's like, and everyone's so busy. So like the fact that if you can just reach out and be like, hey, I'll help you, and then they just all these little people help grow this little baby as an album or whatever it may be into something. So I just approached him and he was down and I just went to the ground running. I think I only had like a month to try and get
Some PR.
some PR
Oh, wow. That's
before.
for people listening who maybe haven't done a PR run or whatever. That is a tight amount of time. People really
Yeah,
like 2 or 3 months is maybe a much more normal
yeah, and that's what I tell people. But then people get busy, and um,
life.
whatever. Yeah, life. And then so then I finally got everything ready. Ben got me everything, and then um, yeah, just went to town and just like I was doing like again before he even sent me everything. I was doing back end stuff like setting up an EPK and then like from
Right.
whatever I could find online and setting up just contact lists that I was ready to email and blast out,
Mm-hmm.
just stuff like that. So like, and then just went to town and used some contacts I already had and found some new ones and just annoyed the shit out of everyone.
That's the
And
way to do it.
just again, everyone gets so many emails to anyone listening who maybe has done it before or just trying to do it, and you just feel it is defeating because you might not even get a reply or you might get some rejections, but like even a rejection, someone email back is like that's huge. Like you
That is
gotta
an opening
they
door.
yeah they read your message, which is huge because like
Yes.
they get thousands, if not fucking millions, it's exaggerated, of stuff like just email a day. So
Totally. It's
you
like
know,
the slush pile, as they call it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
if you're lucky enough where they just look and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna read this, and they go, it was cool, but not really what's gonna work for an article or whatever. Then
Hmm.
hey, like next time you be like, yeah, like you said, open the door, like, hey, thanks for getting back. Like, here's a new project or whatever, and
Right.
or just just try and become again. It's all friendship, so just try and be friends with everyone and be nice. So
It is all friendships and who you know, and I don't even mean that in like a cynical way. Obviously, you need to have like some sort of minimum level of talent to create songs and have other people believe in your music. But a lot of it really is who you know and the relationships that you keep. That's how it seems to
yeah,
be, especially with PR.
yeah, it's a lot. It's yeah. I'm
Like,
still not a professional in any means, or I'm just learning still
nor
as I
I.
go. But really,
Yeah.
like, no one knows in life what they're doing. You just figure it out, or just ask questions. I don't know. Like everyone, like the saying, "No question's a dumb question." It's true. Like for you, if you don't know the answer, even if it feels like a dumb question, like it's you're getting an answer, and it's either gonna help you out or it's not. Like it's gonna give you a validation or conclusion of that thought.
Yes, it'll give you
So
some conclusion. It might not help you out, but even learning that it won't help you out is actually a way forward.
yeah,
You've
so
gained something in a way. No, I'm with you. And
yeah,
also, just to get into the nitty gritty about like sending out messages, uh, what you said about maybe your email is the one that they pick out of that slush pile of 100 emails in a day. Uh,
yeah,
the power, like a subject line, is like actually a powerful thing. Not to sound like a fucking
yeah.
dork, but it
It's true.
is. Like,
It
think
is.
about just the people listening who aren't even in music but receive emails all day. Some of them will be from a loved one. Some will be from like the Gap, and you're like, "Fuck the Gap." But
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes there's something in their subject line, whether it's like a
yeah,
coupon or something, that you click on it, and
yeah.
this
It's
sort of
true.
a similar thing applies to making
Yeah.
contacts with cold emails. Yeah,
It's all it's all clickbait, you know?
it kind of is. Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like how can you
Brock
make
Mattsson willing to fight anybody. That's it. That's
yeah,
the subject line that you've got.
I'm
Uh,
outside your house and if you do not read this email, I will throw a rock through your window.
yeah, exactly.
Something to
So,
really catch their attention. Just
and it
yeah,
would,
anyway.
it would.
It would.
Uh,
Maybe the police's attention too,
can we get?
but
Well, they say all press is good press. Can
oh
I?
no, oh no.
Can I
Yeah.
ask? Can I go back and ask? It sounded like you moved to a lot of places. So how did that work? Like, how many places
It's
in
like
Canada have
a
you lived?
great, very great question. It's a lot. Like within since I've been 18, I'm just gonna call myself a troubadour of Canada, and
You may have earned it.
I don't know. There's people I've talked to that's like a little bit crazier than me, but like within when I was 18 to when did I move out west? So yeah, when I was 18, so within from 2010 to 2015, I lived in at least 4 to 5 different places in Ontario, like
Were you
Peterborough.
a fugitive? That's crazy. That's way
No,
too
I
much
know.
moving.
No, just a little bit with like school and just work,
Uh,
but
yeah, yeah.
Toronto, Peterborough, North, or I guess no, not North Bay yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. See, there's just that time of my life is like a fuzz. But Barrie for sure, obviously, because I went to school majorly here. Yeah, Peterborough. Maybe there's four places: Toronto and somewhere else I'm forgetting, obviously.
Do
But
you have a
uh,
place out of where you lived that is like head and shoulders to you, the most important? It doesn't have to be musically, just in your
um,
life. Are you like that one? Of course.
I moved. Luckily enough, have like a very loving, caring family, and that comes from my grandparents, and we all help each other out. And luckily for my hobo troubadour kind of venturing through life, someone always had a room that I could sleep in and rent. So I
Right.
think my favorite was when I was in Peterborough. I was with my cousin Brett, and at the time his partner Anna. They're now
Mm-hmm.
married, but they weren't at the time, and they had a rescue dog that was very new to them, and a nice little cute place in Peterborough, off Shamong, or yeah, just behind Shamong,
Mm-hmm.
Walmart. For
Mm-hmm.
those of you from or know Peterborough, and yeah, I don't know. I just was there a couple months in the winter, and it was like there for a co-op for school, and I just I don't know, met a lot of phenomenal musicians and would go to a bunch of shows at the Spill, which is I don't know who else knows about the Spill in Peterborough, but that might be my favorite memories are there because it's just like it was probably my favorite venue within Ontario at the time. I never really ventured out past Ontario, so I'm sure at the
Okay.
time there's some other great venues throughout
Yeah.
Canada, but like it was just a long, skinny bar with the stage at the front. They only served hot dogs, bottled beer, and in the back there's a Nintendo Switch you could play. And during the day it was kind of like a cafe-ish, and then at night it turned into a bar.
It's got
And
everything you
they
need.
and they brought in a lot of touring acts, a lot of great music. Um,
And it was called The
and
Spill?
the Spill, yeah, like
The Spill.
that's a yeah. I think that's the first time he probably doesn't know this, but we're friends now, which is funny. But
Yeah.
my friend Zach Lucky, I always
Yeah.
idolize his music, and I think that's the first place I saw him. He played with Nick Ferrio, who was doing country stuff and was on You've Changed, which was like a life changing record label for me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just everything they put out, I just was glued to and loved. It was just perfection in my eyes, and yeah, so just shows like that, and I played there and did some like just like put a band together and just played one-off shows and played with a friend I haven't seen or talked to in a long time, Kaylin Curry, and she had an EP release, and we did some like Ian Tyson songs and her songs, and we played with uh, everyone knows now is Dizzy, but we're called
Yeah.
Good Ghost at the time.
Oh, cool.
So and there's just really great bands coming through, and it was
Yeah,
just like a
there's
cool
no shortage of talent in Peterborough. I think
yeah.
that every time I go.
Yeah, so it was just a nice spot, and it's sadly gone now. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that was like living with my cousins and just like getting really nicely cooked meals because my uh, my cousin's wife is just one of the best cooks.
Mm.
And then just like I don't know, they both smoked weed, so we just like smoked a lot of weed, watched a lot of funny shows, and
Sounds
I got to
amazing to
like
me.
yeah, and I got to like walk a dog, and that was like just learning how to trust and love, and it was just like a really cool moment, for sure. So I think that was my favorite memory from all those Ontario places. But there's more. It's hard to pinpoint it, but that's definitely one that sticks. And then just again, I was living with so many family that's just like
Yeah.
each of them we had our beautiful moments together, and like I lived with my cousin Mark, uh, who worked in the alcohol industry,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was kind of nice. He'd bring me to some cool and fun events, throughout life, honestly. Like we saw the Wooden
Yeah.
Sky and Great Bloomers at the
Cool.
church in Guelph one time because he was working for at the time Pabst Blue Ribbon or something,
Oh yeah. Also
and that was
another great city with lots of talent.
yeah, so it was cool. And he knew I liked music and was a hipster little freak and would love that. And it was great. It was a great show. But yeah, then I lived with him in Toronto, um, Etobicoke with when they were pregnant with their first child, and then also had their first child. So I got to like weirdly experience a newborn child from afar, but also help out when it wasn't my child.
From
And that
afar
was really
sounds
cool.
way creepier than it
Yeah,
should.
yeah, it does. You're right. I'm uh, really bad at that. That
I'm
does
kidding,
sound
Rat.
terrible, but it does. But anyways,
I was
but
watching
yeah,
a
it was just
newborn from afar, making music about it.
yeah. But
No, that sounds lovely.
well,
It makes
I
sense
did
that
it.
those
Yeah,
things stick out.
yeah. So it's
Your
hard to pinpoint
answer.
that. Yeah,
No, I get it, and this was another
yeah.
opportunity for you. The one question that I sort of start with of the main
Mm.
four is what was your best gig memory, and it seems like you played some really memorable, good gigs at Peterborough, but maybe this is another chance for you to say another city where you
Yeah.
played a good gig.
Um, my best gig to date. That's my dog.
Yeah,
He's just barking at strangers out in the
that's all
back.
good. That's all good.
Hey,
Ambiance.
OD. Yeah, he is ambience. But yeah, to date, my best gig was with our friend Dante, who you've done PR with, and we did a show
Yep.
in
Yep.
I don't know February, way long ago when you did your album release. I think it was
Yeah.
that your album release show or something? Close
Yeah,
to,
or
I think.
at least I said it was, that kind of
Yeah,
thing. Was that the
yeah.
Burdock? Was that
The
Burdock?
Burdock, yeah, it was a
Yeah,
fun
yeah,
show
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Which
For
another
sure.
memorable show is up there. It was very good attended, quiet, nice listening
Yep.
room,
Yep.
and but yeah, my favorite gig to date, and it's one of those things. I booked an insane tour, like the dumbest thing I've ever done. I decided to book a tour. I started in Barrie, and then the next show was in Montreal. The next show after that was in St. John, New Brunswick, and then the show after
Oh,
that was in Summerside, Ontario.
how
So it went
many
from
days?
Thursday,
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
it went from Thursday to Sunday, and then after I played my show on Sunday. Um, still, or actually, I think it was a mix. Yeah, but still, probably like some reruns. I just went like rerun podcasts,
Yeah,
just like listen to
yeah.
old old podcasts episodes, and
I know what
then
you mean.
yeah, and then two hot takes, which my ex and
Oh
I used
yeah,
to
I've
listen
heard
to a
of that.
lot, and they're just like there's just some hot juicy gossip and crazy stories on there
Exactly.
that make you feel good. You're like, oh, I'm not that crazy, and then
Exactly.
and
Anyways,
then
so 20-hour drive. Wow.
20-hour drive, yeah. So I listened to a lot, and then the other kicker was I was babysitting my friend's dog, so I had a dog with me. That was crazy, so
I
stupid.
bet.
Miska hated it, she hated it, I hated it, but anyways, within the insanity, I played a show at Ursa with
Oh yeah.
Dante and Ben Valley, so it's just like
Yeah.
nice gig, friendly gig, and we ended up packing the room. I wouldn't say sold out, but we packed the room, and it was the first time I played into an Omni mic. Um,
Oh, okay.
and yeah, honestly, it was the first time you could like hear a pin drop, and I don't know, you just sang from afar, and the Omni mic just picked it up and picked up the room, and I just closed my eyes the whole set and just like wasn't even there. Um, and I just put like because of like I don't know because it was so quiet and people I just drew off the energy of just like the people just watching it and the interest and I don't know I think I put on probably my best show, the best one I felt, and definitely gained some fans, which was cool because sometimes you don't, but yeah, gained some like connections that was really nice, and
Oh, sorry, Brock. You're
yeah.
cutting out a little bit. You're cutting out a little bit right now.
Oh,
I can't really hear. Yeah.
It's all good. You still there?
You've been fine. You've been fine the whole. Yeah, you've been fine the whole interview up until now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, things are better
Oh,
on your end now. So if you want to try going again.
there you go. Yeah. Where'd you not hear?
Uh, uh, right after you were talking about how you were pulling from the audience and what you were giving to them,
Oh,
partially
okay.
because of the omnidirectional
Yeah.
mic.
Yeah. So because of that, yeah, I gained some new fans, which was cool, and then we just talked, and it was really nice. It was a nice moment, just talking and just having someone be like actually listening and talking about your songs. Be like, I really enjoyed this part of your song. I really love this song, and it was like it was really interesting, and um, it was just a fun time. And the whole tour, I was recording with a 360 camera, and then I had it set up to
Cool.
record this show, and I was so excited for it. And then I was scared I wouldn't have enough data, so I bought a new SD card, put it in, and then when I tried to record it, it didn't record a single thing. So it's like one of those things where it's
Oh,
like it's just like as much as I'd love to have the footage, it's just like one of those things where
now it's
it's
special and
just it
lost to
was
time at the same
yeah,
thing.
it's just like not everything's supposed to be recorded, so it's just like for those people it was a beautiful moment, and for me it was a beautiful moment. Well, at least I hope it was. Can't speak for them, but
It
but
was a
no, it was
life
really
changing
fun.
moment for them.
Yeah, but no, it was
No,
really
that sounds lovely. And you said it was at
yeah.
Ursa,
So
is that right?
yeah, which is now I'm gonna
It
butcher it. Petite
it
Loire or
changed its
something
name.
like Little
Oh, okay,
Bear.
yeah, gotcha. Okay,
Loire,
gotcha.
Loire. I butchered
Cool.
it. I know people in Montreal are like tabernacle,
Taber Tabernacle.
calice.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only French word that I know. So, uh,
Yeah,
well, let's move to your worst gig then. How about that?
worst gig. There's
Yeah.
there's so many. It's just like it. I don't know. It just depends what I guess you define as worst. Like
I leave it open
would
to
worst
you. It
right?
can be
Yeah,
like my vocals were off, or it can be a vibe thing, like what you like. Think about what made up your best gig, and then apply
yeah,
that,
yeah.
I guess, to worst.
That's the thing. Like, there's been gigs where I've like I know my songs. I'm just tired, and then I just like butcher some chords. My voice isn't doing well that night.
Yep.
Uh, there's been gigs where it's just like you walk in and nothing's set up or ready, and you gotta set it up and figure it out. Do your own sound. There's supposed to be a sound guy. He's
Yep.
not there. Um, there's gigs where actually I'm gonna use this one. I hate to burn the one guy that was trying to do music in Barrie for for venues. He again love the
Okay.
guy.
Okay.
I won't say his name, but I know people
Sure.
who's from Barrie will
Sure.
know. But
Okay.
he put on a lot of events. Great guy. Did his best to create a scene, and he did create a scene in Barrie. But yeah, there was one bar in Barrie that before COVID was putting on music, and he'd bring you in, and he had everything set up, would do sound, had a door guy and everything like that. And I had my cousin Jen come up, Jen Lyons, and because she's just got a great voice, I just want to like bring her up to Barrie so she could play and sing in front of me. It was a little selfish, but I just love her singing. And
No,
then
whatever.
uh, and then I asked my friend Alex Mason, uh, which was I think we became friends because of another worst weird gig in
Okay.
London. There's so
Oh
many like
no.
you. I don't like I wouldn't say like I don't know. They're just like quirky, funny things that you just at the time it's stressful or like
Yes.
shitty, and then afterwards you just gotta laugh it off because
Exactly.
such is
Exactly.
life. But anyway, so I had this gig. My cousin came up and Alex came up from Toronto, and my grandparents showed up. My family was there. Um, we were, like I think the show was supposed to start like doors were at like 8, show at 9, kind of thing. And anyways, get there. They were like, "Hey, we have a door guy." I'm like, "Perfect." and then 9 kind of like comes, and like people are walking in, no one's taking money. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Like here, like he's like, oh, I got it, I got it. I'm like, okay, like I trust you, let you do your thing.
By door guy, we meant guy who stands in place of a door but will not
Yeah,
take money. Yeah.
exactly. But anyways, he was sitting there. He's at a booth. There's like a little cash box. I'm like, okay, and he's like talking to some friends there and stuff. And yeah, he doesn't really like what's going on over there.
No,
But
I know. Jeez.
no. Plus, side story here.
Sure.
This is the first time he's been outside in a while because he did escape out my basement window on Monday
Oh.
and got hit by a car.
Oh my
So,
God. Oh.
yeah,
Well, he's just
poor
trying to
guy.
update the
So
neighborhood now. Like, I'm not dead,
yeah,
motherfucker.
pretty much. No,
Yeah.
he's doing good. He's got a little splint on, and so anyways, he's
Oh.
been inside and not been able to be outside much.
So it's all just pent up energy.
Pent up energy and anger. Yeah,
Yep.
but
Anger at the world, the
anyways,
state of things.
yeah, jeez, another side story, eh?
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, 9 o'clock, 9:30 rolls around, and um, I'm just like, hey, like, when do you want us to start? Like, it was music supposed to be at 9:30. Like, doesn't look like you're like at the controls. He's like, we're gonna push it till 10. I'm like, okay. Like, my grandparents came out, and they can't stay up late.
No,
Like,
you gotta.
they're
If grandparents are there, you gotta work on their schedule.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, hey, like my
Yeah.
family came. Plus, like, you didn't charge them cover. Like, I as much as I'm a nice guy, take their money, man. And you didn't
Yeah.
charge them. So,
I
anyway,
know
so
they're good
then,
for it. All right, ask them.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, then like 10 rolls around, and then like, hey, we're ready to go. He's like, there's not that many people here. We'll push it. I'm like, man, there's like at least 8 people from my family. Like, friends are coming. Like, let's like do this, and then yeah, it kept on getting pushed, and then 11 o'clock we start. So my grandparents left.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy. That's
so they
crazy.
left. Everyone's just like, my family that came was just like, hey, um, like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. Like, music's starting. I'm sorry. And then like some of them were just like ready to leave,
Ugh.
and then
Such a
after
shitty
that,
situation.
yeah, and then after that, we just like, I don't know, like just from what I remember, we just played. A couple friends came, went, blah blah, and then at the end of the night, it was like 1 a.m. and then packing up and everything. I'm just like, hey man, like I go to the back. I'm like, hey man, thanks again. How much money did we make at the door? He's like, we made $20. I'm like, okay, it was $10 cover. There's at least 8 people here at 9, but your guy didn't start
Oh,
charging at 11. And I'm like, I had guys fly, like not fly in, sorry, drive in from out of
yeah.
town.
Fly in.
So yeah, they
Yeah.
flew in. But then I was just like, okay, can I have it? And he's like, you want $20? I'm like, well,
What the fuck?
yeah,
Yeah.
man.
I mean,
Like,
you earned it.
people came here and were drinking, and you sold food, and your door guy was supposed to do door, or else I would have found a door guy.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, so he's like, okay, he gives me $20, and then I gave like $20 to I think Alex, and then I paid my cousin $20 and said, sorry guys, see you later. And then they have not
Oh,
been back to Barrie since.
yeah. Well,
So that
that's not a
was
great hello. That's a tough one.
yeah, and that was I don't even know how long ago, but that definitely was the worst one. As my grandparents wanted to see me and they did not. So
Oh,
yeah,
that
so that,
is.
I guess
Have
that
they?
makes it
That's pretty terrible. That's a good enough reason to make it one of the worst.
yeah,
Out of
yeah.
curiosity, have your grandparents seen you since
No,
perform?
uh,
No.
no, they I don't know. I just like I think during that time there was like that music hiatus I took,
Yeah.
and then I just haven't played around where they were.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
then and
Gotcha.
then my grandmother passed away, but my grandfather is still alive, and he actually is a musician as well, and that's where I got
Wow.
like my inspiration and taught because he played country music and got a award in I believe the '80s for best new country act, the
No
CMA
way, in Canada?
Ontario's. Yeah,
Oh,
it's in
wow.
Ontario. The and then my family had a country bar in Burlington. That was like the spot to go to. It was called Larry Mattson's Home of Country Music, and yeah, every Friday, Saturday they'd have bands come through, and they probably had the best band in Ontario for a while. Like it was just all session guys that were playing behind my grandfather and my aunt Laura, who also played
Wow.
music, and people would come and
Very
just
cool.
dance, and they bring in some country acts from Canada. And then I guess the coolest story that they've told me about that was Alabama's bassist after playing in Toronto was like, "Where's the best country bar in around here?" And they're like, "Burlington." And then he drove all the way to Burlington to just like go hang out and
Wow.
jam and play. Yeah, and
That's
then
super
they,
cool. I mean, obviously
yeah,
I'm very sorry to hear about your grandma, but
thank you.
that's hopefully, hopefully at some point you get to play for your grandpa. That's pretty cool.
I did play with him when I was in Summerside. I
Oh,
played the Summerside Fest, and he was just around in town, and he was man, he was like what 85 at the time, and I played with him, and it was beautiful and fun, and so that was really special. That was another good
that's lovely.
like best gig in a way. Like
Yeah.
I played my set, and then I sat there and played bass with him, and then my friend Troy MacArthur played pedal steel
Wow.
for
That
that.
that must have felt very full circle considering like you said he was the
Yeah,
one who, taught you.
yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was nice.
Very cool. Um
Mhm.
okay, well then let's get back to you. I mean, we've
Let's
been
get
talking about
back
you
on
as an
schedule.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get back on schedule and talk about the crime problems in where you are, all right? No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding. Let's talk about what you think your best song is that you've released.
that I've released. Oh man,
Yes.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say I'm so bad at releasing music. It took me, I think the songs I finally released, I recorded them in 2017, released the first one in 2020. So I'm really bad at sitting on music, and I'm also sitting on more that I need to release, but I'm just so I focus my stuff elsewhere that I don't do my own stuff, but they'll get out
Mhm.
eventually. But my best release song,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's tough. Like it's a throw up. A lot of people like Are You Thinking of Me? Um just like there's the script of
Mhm.
words and just the slowness of it and just like the just
Yeah.
mellowness. But my favorite song is, and I think my best song of the two released is
Sure.
Rather Be With You. Um, I don't know. It's like, it just feels like a classic country song, and I don't know. I enjoy playing it, and I like the
No, no,
lyrics and
those
the
are good enough
simplicity.
reasons.
I like the simplicity of it. I'm a big guy on simplicity, which is why I love
Okay.
traditional country.
Right.
Um,
I could see that. That makes sense.
yeah, so I
Huh.
guess
So,
that
so
rather
maybe
be with you, I guess,
yeah,
personally, but other
right.
people are you thinking of me? So it's the debate of 2025. So
Well, that is funny because I feel like there are just like the other questions. There are a few ways to answer it. It's like I had one person, I believe it was Jess Ravita. I'm not sure, but one person answered what their best song was by just going, "This one has the most listens." So I don't know. I guess this one, and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
not an incorrect way to answer.
yeah, it's
But I
true.
like hearing what you think your best air quote song is because it's somewhat general. But it makes sense. It's that I like that. I think there's a bunch of musicians. I was just talking about this with a friend actually, who was saying she loves bands that are uh, steeped in the tradition of something else, as opposed
Mm.
to constantly trying to reinvent the wheel and always trying to set out something. She's not saying one is better than the other. She just said she sort of enjoys that there is that as well. And it sounds like that's what you sort of like about this song that you wrote,
Yeah.
like the fact that it can be part of this ever flowing river of heartfelt, simple country folk stuff. Is that about right?
Mhm.
Is that a long winded way to ask you if I'm right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. uh,
I'd
uh,
say.
do you ever change it up when you play live from the based on the
I
recorded version?
oh like all the time. I'm kind of like I don't know. Every maybe day I want to sound like something different, or I hear something different that I'm like, oh, that'd be really cool. Or I'd love to do that. I think it's taken me until I don't know 2023, 2024, where I think I've found my sound myself, and I used to try to be other people. Now I've just like let myself be myself with music and have like splashes of what like what I like traditional
Sure.
country. But it's changed constantly. It just depends as a singer songwriter, solo musician. Um, it it depends who's around and who I can get on gigs and how much I can afford. If I'm doing like a
Sure.
full band,
Yeah.
and it also weighs from like band members to um, me just playing solo and just like feeling off the room, or something I've been listening to that I'm inspired for. Like maybe I'll pick it up a bit, maybe I'll slow it down, maybe I'll try like a little bit of finger picking. But
Yeah.
you know, in certain aspects, I've played like country rock more. I've played super traditional. I've played more folk. I've kind of been all over. But I know I have like where I know what sound I've wanted and want, and I've
Mm-hmm.
finally established a band that is portraying that out of my mind that I've never told them. I'm just like, hey, just do your thing, and then it's exactly how I've wanted to sound, and it's really nice to see that. Just kind of like I guide them a bit, but I just trust them and their talent to do
Right.
the
It just they
best they
seem
can
to
on the
just get it.
songs.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I
it's been fun and nice.
you said a little bit earlier that you more recently found your own sound, like what you
Mm.
are like versus trying to be somebody else. I want to hear a
Yeah,
little bit more about that. Like, what did you
yeah,
do to find that? Because it's a little bit it's a literal question in terms of how you can change things about what you play or how you even up to how you dress, but it's also
yeah,
sort of like philosophical. So I'm curious
yeah.
how you get to that point and you reckon with it in your head, and then it starts manifesting outwardly.
Yeah. So I think how I got into like I'd say country again was um, I grew up with it, obviously '90s and stuff, and then everyone goes through
Yeah,
their like angst phase where I was listening to like
of
Alexa
course.
on Fire and
Yeah.
Was it Bud? No, not By Divine, right? Den Divine
Uh
and
huh.
stuff like that. Some hardcore stuff, and then through Alexa on Fire, City and Color made his Sometimes record,
Uh
and
huh.
that kind of brought me back into like the I don't know emotional side of music and just like a person, an acoustic guitar, and just like very heartfelt lyrics and stuff. And then from there, being from Welland and St. Catharines area, Danny Romano was playing with them,
Yeah.
and I always loved Attack and Black, and I just like I guess like really followed Down Alone Records and
Yeah.
found Attack and Black, and then after Attack and Black, Daniel did his own thing and brought back traditional country, in my opinion, to
Yeah.
or introduced it to maybe some people that wasn't aware of it.
That was actually
And
the artist that I was talking about with my friend who said they like to play in they like that they play in this grand tradition this of
yeah,
rock and folk and country and what all everything you're saying.
yeah. So again, he's a idolized musician in a lot of ways for a lot of people because he's touched so
Oh yeah.
many genres. He writes so much, and then if you write so much, you just release, and And I
Yeah, I was
think,
gonna say,
anyways,
not only is he
yeah,
talented, but his work ethic is crazy.
it's insane. And
Yeah.
I've only met him a few times. Like, not he would not know who I am, but it was just like I was younger and bumped into him, talked to him, just said, "Hey, nice to see you. Love your songs and stuff like that." I just would randomly bump into him and just be like, "You're
Sure.
Taylor Metal, oh my God," in a calm way. And my body was doing that, but I was like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?"
Right,
Just.
right, right.
Um, but then, yeah. So then, anyways, so coming back into country and talking about
Hmm.
City and Color, like I always like was trying to push to be City and Color. Like I wanted to sing his song, so I'm trying to sing at his range. I'm trying to sing in the same key because, like, as a musician at the time, like I was self-taught, so like I couldn't really transition keys unless there's a capo. But even then,
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I didn't. I was still learning my voice, and I just didn't know. I don't know how to use it properly. And then, yeah, in the last couple of years, instead of like like I hear a cover in a certain key, and I'm like, oh, that's amazing. And then you play that key, and you can't do it. I just like just started even my own songs. I'd write a song in a key that I loved the sound and hear and the play, and then I started just like playing around with. I guess it was when I was in PEI, playing around with different keys and where my voice was now because
Yeah.
um, speaking from my grandfather's perspective, he always complains now about how he can't sing how he used to, which he like
Uh.
used to sing very good, and he's still got a great voice, but it's
Yeah.
deeper register, and like
Yep.
that's just life, and your voice is an instrument, and you can like train it and get it better and all that stuff. Like it's an instrument, and you practice it and wear it in.
Right.
So
But you can't really outrun old age, or natural progression, right?
yeah,
So it makes sense that it
exactly.
changes.
So I think just like growing into my 32s, uh, I just I just just started not caring about trying to hit a certain key or just caring what people even thought of my music. I'm like, you know what? I enjoy the song. I wrote it as an outlet for myself in a tough time, or I wrote it
Yeah.
as for a friend in a tough time, or just like I made a story and I enjoy that story I created. So I just like kind of play for myself more, and then I find the key that I find comfortable and that I can, yeah, I feel comfortable in, and then that's where I think I've kind of found into my sound. Like I I I love traditional country. I just love the simplicity. So I love just like the really like like 3/4 like dum dum dum, and I
Yeah.
just like
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear it, it plays in my head constantly. I hear like lyrics in my head, and the music's always behind it.
Yeah.
Uh, and I just yeah, it just was like instead of trying to be other people, that like again, there's right now there's so much great music country coming out, and like everyone sounds either the same or different if depending how you look at it. But for me, a lot of people sound different because the other thing about country is like if you listen to like a lot of old records, like they're very just like raw and just very like this is me, and like
Yeah.
they're not trying to be like top 40 pop. They're like this is me, this is my sound, and this is my music, and that's country. Like it's
Definitely,
supposed
especially
to
some of
be
the people that
supposed
you
to be you.
mentioned much earlier, like Towns Van Zandt, for example.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't a phenomenal singer, but he could sing, and he was a great songwriter, and
And he
just
produced emotion, which is such a big part of it.
exactly. And that's, I guess, yeah, what it leads into now is like now I'm in a comfortable zone where I can produce emotion in my songs. And after that happened, I really started getting strangers coming up and being like, I really liked your set. I was like, oh,
Cool.
okay. But then they go, I'm like, oh, cool. Like everyone says that. But then like, or you did really good. And then they're like, I really liked when you played Rather Be With You or like White Gold or like they pick out a song title and I'm
Yes.
like, oh shit, like you were actually listening.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And it's
And
that plus when it comes from a stranger, you're like, whoa, that's wild.
yeah, who are you
Yeah.
first of all? Are you gonna try and
Yeah.
kill me? And
Exactly.
thank you so much.
Yes. Exactly.
Fight or flight, let's go.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
yeah, it was yeah, that's I guess kind of how I'd say came into my sound, and
No, it
some
makes sense.
songs I write they turn more folky, some turn country. It's just how they come out, and there's a few that I've reworked over the years to like turn more country sounding, but they were like maybe folk sounding.
Gotcha.
So, and again, these are songs that no one knows about because they're just sitting in limbo in my
I see.
computer
Yeah.
that I need to do
That's
stuff with, but I'm too lazy.
this is
So,
your public shaming to do something with them. Uh well,
self self
let's
sabotage.
exactly. Let's stick with the self-sabotage and shaming theme and get to the last question, which is what do you think your worst song is that you've publicly released?
Oh damn! I only got two,
Yes.
man. What the hell? No, that's a lie though. If you go on
Okay.
my
Tell me how bad
if you go on my
50% of your catalog is.
no, if you go on my Bandcamp, there's an album I recorded with people in Barrie. That's what kind of made me stop playing music. They're great musicians. They did a lot on there, um, and that's what. There's just a big hate war on Facebook when it came to money. Um, I
Damn.
just didn't have enough, and they're expecting so much, and there's just like a on both ends, like not great. I was 18 at the time. I didn't know much.
Right.
They did know some stuff, and it's just like I don't know. It's just shitty on all parts, and but yeah, those songs. There's some really good ones on there, and it's hard to listen to now because there's so much hatred that came around those songs. But
Right. So you're
um,
choosing them not because the songs are bad necessarily, but because the memory sort of baggage associated with them, it makes them toxic.
yeah, but worst song I guess in that catalog that I think it's on there. I'd have to look, but
Okay. I'll
I don't
search it up
know.
quickly. What's it called?
City Searcher.
Okay.
Is
Search
it on Bandcamp?
uh
Maybe I didn't
no.
release it. Damn. Okay.
I don't think so. What you
I
have
don't
up
even know
here
my
is
own.
The Child I Once Was, Are You Thinking
Yeah.
of Me, and Rather Be With You on Bandcamp.
Yeah. Yeah. So on the album "Child I Once Was," I think another year. I think another year. It just like I don't know. There's no depth to it. I like it still, but I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot. Like again, I was like young Brock, so there's a lot of songs I don't like on there, but there's a lot of
I
songs
get
I
it.
do like.
Okay.
But
Well, what's
I
one that
think
you
on
don't
it,
play from that album?
all of them.
Oh, okay, all of them. Okay.
I don't put, that's I don't have good memories around them.
Yes, I
So
see. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
but yeah, out of maybe okay. So we'll do the two songs that you can find on Spotify.
Great.
Um, Worst song, even though I just both said
Oh
everyone
no no
I
no
like
no
them.
no. Bandcamp is the Bandcamp one is fine, and then I'll put it at the end.
Okay, because we can shit on it. I'm joking. Anyways,
Yeah.
uh, no, I don't know. Like I try and that's a tough. That's like it is a really tough question, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how I answered it. I took it
Mm.
as there was an idea that I had that I wanted to get across about listening to albums or to
Mm.
songs, and I put an experiment in a song that I thought would sort of like give me insight about how people listen to music. And the insight that it gave me was people, well, to my music anyway, people weren't paying close enough attention to get what I was doing. They just thought the file was corrupted. Uh,
Mm.
it had something to do with stopping the music and etc. Whatever. But my point
Okay.
is, it was kind of a failed experiment, and so I consider
Mm.
that song uh, one of my answers, if you will. But it
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
just be like, this is cliche to me now, or it was young Brock, like you said, so I don't relate to X thing
Yeah.
because whatever. No.
Yeah. There's just a lot about those songs that I just didn't. I don't know. Anyways,
No, it's okay
but
if you're not comfortable talking about them because it obviously was like a raw situation. You don't have to. I'm not going to force you.
Yeah, appreciate it. But yeah, no, I do. There's some songs there that were I liked and I didn't like. But yeah, I'd say on that another year
Another
I didn't
year,
like.
okay.
Another year if people want to deep dive that.
Sure, yeah, another year. I appreciate you still giving me an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I,
is there anything that you want to promote right now that we've come to the
yeah.
end of the podcast? Let's hear let's hear it.
Yeah. So yeah, I gotta been talking about management and stuff. Like been trying to help hobby do some stuff. And
Yeah, great band.
last year we did a tour and we got offered a gig uh, from that gig a year later and been working on a giant tour around that one date in Tamagami, which will be on the 28th of June. But we have a
Cool.
giant tour, 18-day tour, no breaks, going from Barrie on the June 26th all the way to Winnipeg on July 2nd, to Montreal on the 9th, then to Sarnia on July 12th, and then back to Toronto on July 13th for a giant barbecue at the Expo Warehouse with Nicolette the
Ooh.
Nobodies.
Ooh, very
And
cool.
yeah, so it's a big 18-day tour that we're doing in about a month, I guess.
That's big. That's
Uh,
serious. This episode will be out before that starts, so people go buy tickets.
yeah, there'll be some tickets. There's some free shows too if you live up in like the north. Um, like Tamagami will be free. We're doing a show for the city of Dryden. That should be free, I believe. It's an outdoor thing.
Sweet.
And yeah, so yeah, if you don't follow me already, I guess go to like Instagram and you can check it out there. You can follow Hobby.
Hobby is a band, I believe, is their username on Instagram.
Hobby is a band, and
Yeah.
that's their Instagram, and it's the truth as well.
It is
They
also
are
the
a
truth.
band,
Yeah. Yeah.
and there's
Okay,
yeah.
well, thank you. They're great. And
No, thank
and
you. It was
of
nice.
course, what we do at
It's
the
been like a
very end.
year long.
Uh,
Sorry, it's
no,
been a
no,
year
no.
long trying to get this going, right? So it's been
It
nice to
has. It
finally come
has.
on.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely. It's great to have you. This was a cool conversation. I feel like I
yeah,
learned a lot, which is selfishly
that's good. Yeah,
valuable to me.
no,
Yeah.
that's nice.
What we do at the end usually is just you restate your name and your choice for worst song, if you wouldn't mind doing that.
I can do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey
Awesome.
everyone, my name is Brock Mattsson, and my worst song is Another Year.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you.
That's like